Yes. As you all know, everything on Flutter is a widget. As we normally say, everything on Flutter is a widget. Let me see if I can share the two, both my emulator and this thing, to see if the system will not hang or screen. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. I think you can see it now. Can you see my screen?
I can
Or is it
see it.
doing magic?
Yes, but
Is it doing magic? And everything, you're seeing everything clearly?
Yes.
yes, but how do you get this Android phone? This
That
Or
is
how
it.
I installed it? Please, what was your question, please?
this Android phone, your background. How did you get?
Come about it, Abby. Okay. So from the when I configure this Android emulator, let me switch now to my Visual Studio Code. As I'm sorry, Android Studio. Let me switch this into Android Studio. It's coming up, please. Because I did a whole configuration in Android Studio. That's where I created this emulator. So I think you downloaded the emulator, right? Sorry, did I say emulator? Android Studio.
No, I've not been able to download Android Studio. Just VS Code and the Flutter.
Okay. And you need to download the Android SDK. You need to download Android SDK. You need to download Android Studio. So I think you still have what's been called again? Java SDK. Depends on what happened again. What I closed. Sorry guys, I went ahead and closed it up. Okay. So this is my Android Studio. So if you want to create a new project in Android Studio, look at this is the first interface it's going to bring to you. Now the first thing is you go to new Flutter project. Now this you already have a path for the SDK. All you have to do is next. Now you see what I told you that time. Consign your app name. Let me say I name this one. Let me say that same various. Now you see here, and I cannot change here to sorry bootcamp 2. Now I can choose the areas I want, what I want this thing to work with. Do I want it to be on Android only or Android OS? But for now, we are dealing with Android and OS, so I will check others. So let's say, for instance, it doesn't have internet in your system. You can as well use create project offline. Now with this one, now even if you don't have internet, you can create your Flutter project, but you still need internet to run to download everything that you needed to from, let me say, from PubDes PubSpecs YAML. So those dependencies. So for now, I'm using a online version of it, so you can get me the latest configuration and use create. Wow. So this is it now. This is it. Now, what you asked me about the emulator. Let's say, for instance, you have installed and configured you have installed your you have downloaded your Java SDK and you have installed the Android Studio.
The screen is
So what you need to do is
I'm no longer seeing the
I didn't hear
screen.
you.
The screen is I'm no longer seeing it.
The screen is off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Share screen. I'm sharing I think this is what I'm sharing. So if you're using Android Studio, now you need to first of all go to settings. Now inside that settings, but if you're here to select your Android, configure your Android, at the first instance, that first screen it showed you, that's when you now be asking you to set the necessary thing you need to set. The first one we ask you to set is the SDK part. Now SDK is just a zip file that you are going to download from the Android Studio site. Android Studio, just search for Android SDK. You download the whole what's it called? The SDK. That's how I prefer to do mine. Although you can decide to use the online version of it. But the reason why I prefer using it is because I use Internet Download Manager. Even if my network is not stable, I can pause it and continue downloading when I have a stable network. So the first thing is just to use this method here and locate your SDK path. Now this is what I have. You can see that it's already installed. This is the platform, the test platform, which I'm yet to download. So this is this. Now the next thing you're supposed to do is when it gets to here, now it now asks you which platform do you want to download, just like which operating system do you want to download. Like if you notice my own, I have different OS. Now you notice I have Marshmallow, I have Android 8, which is Ore, I have Pi, I have Cure, I have R, I have S, and I have SL. That is version 2 of the version Android 12. The reason why I have this thing is maybe there are some app you develop, you need to test it in lower version Android to see if it's compatible, if some features actually work. Are you getting me? So that's why at times it's advisable to have a 2 or 3 Android OS on your system. That depends on the app you are using. The system you are using. There's some system, if you download 3 or 4, your system might be hanging because each of these things runs in 501 gig, depends on the size. Now, the next thing you're supposed to do after downloading this thing is going here. Now, inside here now, you have some things you need to download. You see this build, this Android SDK build tools. This is what compiles your code to work on Android. You need to download this very one. For those of you that don't have it before, you need to. This one is just for the head unit. It's not actually necessary, but if you want to download it, you can still download it. Now you see this one, this simulator. You need to download it. I don't even know that I have updates on it, so let me not update it. This up to update it. So we have these two. This SDK platform tools. This one is just a general platform SDK platform tools, while this one is only work perfectly with Android 12. This build 34. Now, there's another thing you need to do if you're using Windows. Now, you see this Android Intel 84 emulator Hamza installer. You need to download it too. Now, these are things you needed to download for more like an extension you needed to download for your app to work. You see this all this web USB drive play service. This play service is going to help you to, like when we start creating emulator, this play service is helping us to download apps that will have a Play Store, YouTube, all those Google stuff. And with those, if you create an emulator that have those Google stuff, that's when you can use Google login, Google sign in. Because if you create an emulator that doesn't have that Google login, it's not going to work. Because the Google Play services are not there. You didn't install them and it's not going to work. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Okay, so
It's not one download. Okay. Alright, I'm trying to update my emulator. I didn't know that I have updates. So the next one here is that we're going to. I should have just canceled this thing. The next one I'm going to do now is how to create an emulator. I know I'm doing this thing for, I think, for Bold and Lookman, you have emulator on your system, right? You are using it already.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm doing this thing just for Bold. So now, if I want to create my emulator, I can use from here to go to device manager, or I can click here by the side here. I can click here and go to my device manager. So if you notice what I have here, I have two emulator. One that have API 23, that is I think Marshmallow. While this one is the latest one. Now, if I want to now create an emulator, I can simply go to this create device. Now, I have different type of emulator that I want that are here. I can choose anyone. But preferably, if I'm to choose, I normally choose the one that have this Play Store. So I can make use of Google services like Google login, sign in, and all those things. If you choose anyone that doesn't have this Google service, these Play Stores, it's not. You cannot be able to write a code that an app that you can test with the app. An app that makes use of Google Play Store or Google sign in, since you don't have a Play Store on it. Now let's say for instance I want to use Pixel 4. I will do my next. So the next thing it asks me to is select the OS I want there. Now I have OSR. So you can choose any other one that you want. Are you getting me? So you can choose any of them that you feel like is okay. You can go to the SM, this very one, but the part of country we are, we manage everything we can manage. So that's why I'm using this Android R. So I'll do my next. Now, if you want to reconfigure your app, you can from here and reconfigure it. You want to change some things, you want to increase the RAM, you want to increase the hard disk, you want to increase everything. Because there gets to a time in your app where if you want to install an app, you have to uninstall the previous one installed before you can be able to run and test your app. So this is where you can come and configure it. I think I run into that problem sometimes. We will have to come back here and change the configuration. So after that, all you have to do is finish. But since I don't want to create anyone, I can just cancel. So now, another thing we need to do is that in this, for you to be able to run this Flutter, both in with what's it called again? Android Studio or VS Code. You need to go to the plugins. It's still under that settings. You search for plugin there. Now, this plugin, you need to look for that. This is it. You install that here. Now, after installing that, you install what? Flutter. So I can as well, you need to install this Flutter too. So, and there are still other small applications you can install. Like, although I don't normally use here, if it's on what's been called VS Code, I installed the Flutter. I still see my screen. You can still install this very stuff. This will help you
Yes.
complete your. This is what is going to help you when if you are typing something, you don't actually know the name. This thing can automatically complete the whole thing for you. If it's what you want, you can now press enter to continue. So there are many other applications. Even if you are using Getters or Blog, you can as well install plugins for Blog. Let me say Flutter Blog. Now this is what is going to help you to generate some those boilerplate codes that as much that you can't be able to. You know you can't type it too, but you can't be memorizing them in your head every night to start typing them, especially this very one. So even if it's Getex you're using, you still have it. This will help generate those codes for you. You don't have to start typing them. Because as a developer, you should be working hand in hand with time and flexibility. It's not about working hard. At times it's working smart. So, am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, I know most of you have known about this before now. So, I'm just trying to explain it to what's this my guy name? Bold. So in absence of that, I think I should switch to my VS Code. Am I free? Good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the VS Code. So the same thing is applicable to VS Code. For you to be able to write a Flutter code here and that program, you need to go to extension here. Now under extension, this is for me what I use on my own. If you notice, I have a Android emulator. This helps me to. This is this emulator here. This helps me to unemulator directly from VS Code. Now I have my awesome snippets. This helps me to, like what I told you, if I type something like this, it generates the full code, both these and the other one, though we are still going to see it full. You see, look at it. If I type something like this, I'm going to get insert state. If I like this, I'm going to get dispose. If I like this change, I'm going to get dependency and loss of more. Once I do this will not generate the whole complete code. I can just only change what I want to change. Now the same thing with block. These block plugins as well are going to help me to get my code easily. Now if I type a new block, this new block, I'm going to get the full generation of block. So maybe as time goes on, we are going to practice it directly. Now I have the bootstrap icon. The bootstrap icon is more like what you see how it does for beautification of this my UI. It's not serving any special purpose. It's just for this beautification of the way my icon is. Now I have another thing that I discovered that actually helped me a lot. Okay, you see this bracket per color. Now if you look at my code, let me see my code. If you look at this thing now, you look at each of these brackets have different colors. Now with this, I can be able to know where the end of this bracket ends even without clicking it. Now if I look at it, I say, okay, this color is for this color is for this, this one is for this blue, this one is for this. So it helps me to identify my work easily. So there's what they call another one, correction lens. This one, reference error, sorry. Don't mind my tongue, I beg. Now, this reference error help me to see where my code is, when I'm having issue with my code. Let's say, for instance, I forget to put this thing now. You see, look at function was provided. Now, I didn't tell this code to stop here. That's why it's giving me error on this until I put this come out. But this is not come myself. Semicolon. So I'm looking for where something like that is needed. Now you look at it, say you're expected to put a colon. So this helps you to tackle errors in your code easily without you running around and looking for what isn't I put. Because if you didn't put some of these things, if you have been into programming before, you notice that at times, because you didn't put a comma, it might search this thing for like 2 years, you know, go see them. Now, just like the other one, you need to install this Dart on your VS Code. At the same time, install Flutter on your VS Code. These things are very, 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 very important. Am I communicating? So I think these are the major stuff you need. Unless another thing here is Figma to VS Code. You can use this thing now to connect your Figma to your VS Code. Then you can be able to extract images or icon or anything directly from your Figma down to your VS Code without shuttling anywhere. Let's say, for instance, if I click here now, you now ask me to select any of those what's been called file. Let's say, for instance, I'm using this. Let me use this style shopping. I wanted to use this to pass time before this class came up. This bootcamp, sorry. I saw it in Flutter community. It's free. So Flutter community is going to help you a lot in your program, in the sense that since you can't go and be designing your UI by yourself, you can go there and search for any free design and use it to enhance your skill. I don't know if I should use this thing as what we'll be working on to the final project, like we use this thing to start our class. Now, if you notice something here, okay, this is what I selected now. If you look at here, I can use it to see what I'm expected of, both the font size, the font weight, the font family, etc. Now, I can as well extract this file from here. If I go to Assets, I'll see Export. Now, because it's not an image, I don't want to export that one. I can start to export this guy here. Now, I can go to this export. I can choose the one I want to use. Now, all of us, you agree with me that SVG look more enhanced, look more beautiful. Like the resolution is better when compared with any type of image quality. Although at times we prefer using a PNG because it's a little bit lighter. But SVG is more full of like code. It's just like an XML file or something. So from here now, if I want to export this thing now, I can as well click on export. Now, I already have a folder. Okay, let me first of all create a folder called assets. Now, inside that assets, I'm supposed to have various folder. First of all, I'm supposed to have like images. Now, another one very important to me to have is icons. So if there's any other image you're expecting, as in any other file or folder needed to create just to separate your concerns, because when it comes to writing code, it's not about solving the code, like writing the code. Are you writing code that is readable? Is it maintainable? Like in absence of you, can another person fix a bug there? So that's why there's what I call separation of concerns in developing in software development or software engineering. These enable us to separate things according to their usage or how they're being used. Now, because of this is assets. Inside assets, you have your images, your icon, and another thing you can think of that related to images should be inside asset. Okay, I remember another thing, fonts. Now, if you look at this app, I have maybe as we are going, you notice that this app have like 4 or 5 fonts in it. So, but let me start by exporting this image so you can see. Now click my export. Now, this is where I want to put it. First thing I'll do is assets. Now change it to the name I want. I can put it to, let me say logo. I'll now click my enter. Now, let me check. It's already here now. You see? Can you see my screen? You see the image is already here. So with this thing, I don't need to be going to Figma and be exporting them. In case if you are working in a serious project that they give you a design and say, my brother, replicate this thing to code for us. So now this is it. Now let's get rid of these boilerplates. I mean, please, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section. So I won't just be running around like a madman chased by a mad dog. I saw it said that Mohammed is online. So, am I free to proceed? Now, the first thing I do is to remove these comments. Now, I have put dots, asterisks. Now, if I click on this asterisk, I will have something like a replace. Where is the replace? Now, I will now say replace. That's the easiest way to remove those things now. Yes, and I'll do replace. As you can see, I just remove those comments. I can now save my work. Now, first thing I'll do is I'll go to my lib folder. Now, first, let me just run the app so you can see the thing. Or we already know how this thing looks like. Let me quickly run the app so you can see. So now, so you can see my emulator and everything. Let me run the app so you can see. I prefer running the app on debug so that I can capture the errors. Now, if you click at this small this thing here, you can see start by this and start by that. But before, okay, sorry guys, I forgot to show you something on here if you're using VS Code. Now, if you let me close this thing. Are you still seeing my screen?
Yes.
Are you still seeing my screen? Okay. Now, I don't have any emulator on here. What I'm going to see here is here. This is Windows. Under here now, I'm going to have Windows. The reason why I'm having Windows is because Windows is part of the app we created. Now, if you look at this, we have Linux, macro, web, Windows, and iOS. Now, since I want to run testing my app on Android emulator, I have to come here, click. Now, it will now display me available device on my system. Now, me, I'm using this very one, 67 API 34. I'll click on it. It will be coming up very soon. I think it's up. You want to allow everyone to save network? Yes, allow. I think I'm having this thing because of the thing I updated that time. So while we are waiting for the emulator to come up, let's now go to our lib folder. Now, there's only a standard way to create this stuff. Now, it all depends on the architecture you are using. Are you using a clean architecture or MVVC? Now, anyone you choose to use, now you have to now decide on, also in respect to the, what's being called again, the state management you are using. If you are using GetX, if you are using Block, if you are using a Riverport. But let me just stick to the general stuff we are going to use. Now, first of all, I needed to create a folder called core. Now, core is going to have the core areas of the app. Let me say from the, you can start from the theme, the theme, what else again? The style, what's the just the core features of your app, your style, your theme, your color, and the etc. So these are the things you are going to have inside your core folder. So if you look at this very folder here now, you look at it inside this my lib folder here. Now, this is my lib folder here. I have what a folder called common. Now, those are things that have been common to every area of the app. Now, I have the config. This is where I put my route, my theme. Now, I have here, we have the error, we have the network it, you have the utilities. Utilities where you can have your extension, your conversion, etc. Any other things. They have this one called features. Features where you have anything related to your app. Now inside that feature it's been divided into three. We have the data, we have the domain, we have the screens. Now inside the domain, we have a data source. Now inside that data source, have a local and remote. Are you getting me? Now the next we have inside data is what we call module. Now this mode is where you define your module, like you create your classes. Let me put it that way, because module and class are the same thing, not as almost. They are the same thing. Now it depends on the type of architecture you are using. Now if you are using clean architecture, which is going to separate your module, which is this. Now this is your first module. Now I'm using call it entity. Now the next one here is repositories, which is this repository is the actual thing we're going to be using. Now every other thing will connect to here. While you pass this one to the UI, then if you're using clean architecture. But then I'm just going to introduce you how to structure your code. We're not going to nitty-gritty on a clean architecture, but let's just have an overview of it, because I believe that people are here are not that total novice when it comes to programming generally. Now they have the domain. If you notice something, because some of us we didn't finish one class. Now if you notice that this module extends what an entity user entity. User entity is another class somewhere else, but this one is the main module, but it's extending another class that is under epitable. So now we have the domain.
Hello, boss.
Yes, sir.
Please, why are you recording this session, please?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we have the domain. Domain is, how will I put it, as the name implies, as in where you have your part of as in this, anything here does not really going to come to the UI, because everything here is going to be coming back to this data, and this data will transfer it to the UI. These are one of the core areas of your app we are not going to be touching. Now, if you look at it, I have entities here. Now, entities is, I'm still going to create modules on this. Now, I have this, we have category, we have this. Now, as the name implies, entity is just, let me say I'm trying to create a login, create user and login app. Now, what are the entities I'm expected to have there? Now, I'm supposed to have a username, password, first name, last name, and profile picture. These 5 things are the entities needed for me to create that app. Now, if you're running a clean architecture, you need to create those entities separately. Now, from the one I have created before that I extended here, I have this thing here called user entities here. Now, this user entity is just entity for login. Are you getting me? Now, this is what user I'm going to use to create an account. Now, if you notice the entity I needed for this, for my user, is the name, the last name, the phone number, the address, password, or email. These are the entities, which is what I extended here. More like I'm telling you, okay, I want you to create a model for me, but use this entity here. Are you getting me? So that's where it comes to domain. Now you have this user repository. User repository is just more like, just like what I told you here, that this repository here is the one that are going to be working with, is making use of what we have here, but it's not actually But when we start writing the full code, I think you are going to understand this very well. So now we have the use cases. Now, use cases are just some things that will be calling up in the screen. In those, as in, you can share within these everything that is here. But for now, because I'm still developing the app, I'm yet to put anything there. Now, I have here my screen. Now, if you look at the way I structure my screen to be readable, now this auth is going to have my login and sign up. Now, we have the onboarding screen. Now, the onboarding is those there, once you open your screen, apart from the splash screen, the onboarding, this one you have to click next to get to where you are going before you get to before you go to the auth screen. Now, you have the order, you have the payments, and you have the products, and you have this is your main. Main is still like that. Now, I actually believe that I think we have a little bit understanding of what we intend to achieve and how we can work and achieve what we want to achieve. Now, let's work on building a small something. But in the meantime, let me see if I can run my app. Now, I have core. I'm just going to do a little app. I'm not going to make it fully like the other one. I have my configure. Now, inside this my configure, I'm going to have my theme. I'm going to have my, what else am I supposed to have this? I'm going to have my, okay, let me say color. Okay, let me just say style. Okay, so this is where we are. Now I'm going to have another thing, maybe create a folder called feature. So let me create a folder called features. Sorry, features. So inside the features, we're going to have some people, you can use a presentation. I'm just going to use the barest minimum of it. I'm going to use services. Which other one am I supposed to use now? Okay, let me just use model. Now, inside this presentation, I'm going to have, let me say, auth. That's for login, logout, and all these things. Now I'm going to have my, let me say, home screen or home page and others. So now, as we all know, this is your, from here above is your main area, your main code. Let me put it that way. This is the starting point of your app. Are you getting me? This is the starting point of your app, which is the first thing that once you run this app, this is the first place you're going to open after checking every other necessary things that needed to be checked. Now, first thing I'll do, normal, if I have an app name, I can change it to, let me say, demo. Please, are you guys understanding me? So I can still remove this is the home screen. I can as well decide to copy it, but let me just delete it, so we can start the code afresh. Hello, am I communicating, please?
Yes.
Should I go ahead?
Yes, oh,
Okay, thank you. Now I have this my homepage. Dot that. And that's all of food and I put on this one. I don't do anything. Now, just like what I told you, that the essence of that awesome Flutter, I think snippet, right? I write my STL. If you notice, now I have statelet widget, stateful widget, and all this. Once I click on any of them, let me use the stateless first. You notice it already code for me. I can as well change it to home page. So that is the essence of using a snippet. Now, how I put change this thing back to the actual name, home page. I'll save. Let's save this one. So I'll save. Now, just like what our boss told us, notice something. You need to tamper with this thing and save. The beauty of Flutter is also immediately change my UI. Now, first thing I'll do normally, I'll just come here and remove that banner here. I think it's debug show banner. I'll change it to false. Is out. Now, for me now to have a wide screen, just like we have told, everything on Flutter is widgets. Everything on Flutter is widgets. Now, we keep on building upon widgets, and you have a beautiful UI. Now, naturally, first thing I normally do is I do scaffold. Let me see body. Let me just write text. Let me say welcome. Okay. Now I want it to be at the center, but let me just save it. You see where the welcome is. Now the reason why this welcome is there is this. I don't have a app bar. At the same time, there's what they call safe area. Safe area is what to help you. Your app will not get to this point because this is above the safe area now. Which is, if you are doing your app like this, you're not doing yourself a good thing. So for me now to fix those areas, I can just go to your new refactor and use a center. Now notice that my welcome will come here. For those of you that don't know how to work on this, you can as well style this thing like this. You go to click comma, write style. Now the next thing is text style. Now inside that text style, this is where you write everything you want to write. Now let me say font size. Can I say 18? Font weight is where you use to check whether it should be bold or not. Font weight. Now dot bold. If you use font style, you want it to be in italic or whatever. Font style. Now, if you notice something, as we all know, Flutter helps us to work on our app. If you look at here now, you see how to say it, say font style. Now, it's giving you a hint of what you should expect, what you should do. Are you getting me? Now, you notice that this is a font weight, type of font weight. Now, I have font style, type of font style. Now, how we are using the case, because nobody is going to teach you everything on Flutter. There are some areas you discover by yourself. And how to discover it by yourself is checking this thing I just checked now, understand the properties attached to each of them. Now, if I go to here now, if I write anything giving me an error until I write something like font style dot, is it italic, this. Now, the reason why I'm having this error is requires me to add a constant value to it because what I did is a constant. because test is a constant. It doesn't actually change like that unless we are using imported stuff. But if you're not using it, they require you to put a constant on it. You can put as well put a constant here and you solve the whole problem. But as time goes on, I'm still going to remove it. So this is the first area, as in the first screen we built now in Flutter, which is everybody here, I think, have done it before now, apart from Bode. So, Bode, do you have any question here?
For now, no.
Okay.
But
So when you
when I
start,
go through when I will start practicing and going through the recordings, if I have any question, I can still come and meet you.
reach out. Okay, no worry. So now, the first thing I want us to do is, first of all, let's understand how to build blocks on Flutter. Flutter, I told you everything on Flutter is widget. You build widget upon widget upon widget upon widget until you get to what you needed to do. Now, as we can see now, we have done this area now. So the next thing we want to do is, let's see if we can have a full-blown screen. Look, man, I think you have done inputting of data before, right? Like using test field and all those things. Look, man, can you hear me? Okay. So we have our, let me say, app bar. Now inside this app bar, for now, it's nothing I'm having error. The reason why I'm having this error is this thing I added here. Because app bar is there's what you call mutable and unmutable or something. I don't even forget the pronunciation. But what I'm trying to say that there's some, like stateless widget is immutable in the sense that it's unmutable, sorry. It doesn't change. Whatever you're writing here is static. But a stateful widget is immutable. You can edit it, you can tweak it, it can supposed to be changing while the app runs. Now, with this small definition I gave you, the difference between a stateless and a stateful widget, you notice that if you're writing a program that you are going to have a change of values on the screen, it's advisable you use a stateful widget. Stateless widget is more like a static, let me say, static screen that's not going to be changed of any value at any given time. But while stateful widget is a screen that each value can change. Let me say the picture or the animation, or if you click something will appear, all those things. Those screens need to be a stateful widget. Now, these are app bar here now. You can now, let me just save it and see what will happen. Whether there's any difference. Okay. Now let's say we have our title. Now, if you look at this thing, it's telling us that our title is a widget. So it's not that we go and write something like it's going to give us an error. It's not a string. You need to add a widget, and the widget that's supposed to be entitled is a test widget, and this is what we used to pass test to our screen anytime, any day. Let me say testing, and this is it. Now, you can as well decide to tell the system center title true. So I will be just touching them small. When you're on your own practicing time, you can as well try other few things on your own, and if there's any question, you can as well reach us. So, but me preferable, I don't like using what's it called? I don't like using a alpha. What I prefer using is I will remove the alpha, but it's better you understand this what you as in have the tool so you can choose what you want. Me personally, I normally prefer using this. Then I will now wrap. Let me remove these things. Let me close this center. Sorry guys, I know I'm not that fantastic when it comes to teaching. Me, I prefer using safe area personally, and I have no reason to. But once I choose safe area, I can now put my column. Now, we all know what column is. Column is from the way the name sounds, you know column and row already. Now, when you talk of column is things that will go this area, like is it vertical? Sorry, horizontal. While row is vertical, if I'm not mistaken. Then now on here now inside is column. Let me copy. Okay, let me use this text. Hello. Let me just allow ourselves to make some mistake. I refuse to push comma. And let's see what the error we are going to get. We have our error. So why am I having error? I didn't terminate this app. I didn't tell you that, bro. Now here is supposed to stop. This one stop here. This one stop here. This one stop here. Now, based on what I told you earlier about that error length, you know, I told you that I need to add the comma somewhere. Now, if I save this thing now, you see, all of them are here. Now, you notice the way you arrange my work. Until I put this another comma at the end of this work now, it's going to arrange it like this. Now, this is an example of a column. Sorry. Now, let's see how row looks like, because we are going to make use of row and column very well when it comes to issue of this thing we are doing. When it comes to Flutter, it's very, 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 very. In fact, is the life wire of this thing. Now notice this now. So it's showing that everything now is actually taking shape. We have our row here, we have our column. But if you are building a big app and you need time to structure the whole thing, now I have this app I want to build. Now this is my base. What I say my base. Let's create a header, like a full-blown header for this app, and let's see how it looks like. Now, me personally, I normally use my row. Now, the first thing I have to do is I'll create. The first thing is our, let me say, our avatar. Normally, I use my container. Like our boss taught us in the afternoon or in the evening. Inside the container, what am I supposed to have? Let me have what I call a decoration. Now inside the decoration, we have what I call decoration box. Because what we are dealing with is a box. Container is according to different regulations, say that container is what a rectangular something that can take any shape or anything. Now put my decoration box. Now, inside that decoration box, if you notice, there are a list of options there. Now, we have color, we have image, we have border, we have radius, we have a list of shadow, we have a gradient, we have a background blend, we have shape. Now, first thing I needed to do, I need to change it to, I can change it to shape to be shape.circle. I can add my color. Maybe colors amber. Let me see how it look like. No, I'm not seeing anything. Do you know why? Can you tell me I'm not seeing anything now? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
So I asked the question, can you tell me I'm not seeing anything on the screen? Look, man, are you here? So the reason why I'm not seeing anything is I'm here to add the height awareness. Let me say 20. This class needs to be interactive. So, I'm using full screen. I don't even know whether anybody is online or offline. So you notice now I've created a circular avatar. Now, if you look at my code, it's to jump to the screen. I can as well use my, what is it called? My padding. How do I get here? I'll just right click here, go to refactor. Now select padding. Now padding will now say pad all. But I don't want to pad all, I want to use a semantic. If I delete here now and use the dots symmetric, now I can use the horizontal to be 20. So you see, now I can as well, I think I've done, okay, let me do this in front so you can, so I think I've done with the circular avatar. I can now decide how to put a text in between and I'll do my text. Let me say something like welcome. Now you can notice that the thing is very close to each other. I can as well use something like that's what I call space. Now this spacer is what helps to, like if as I'm putting it here, it's going to push this welcome to the extreme. You see. Now, if I decided now to copy this thing now here and put it here. See, it's now in the middle. So I think with this you can now start structuring your app the way you want it to be. If you don't want to use app bar, now I've automatically created an app bar for myself using this row, the column. Are you getting me? So there are still many other widgets we're supposed to understand. Let's say, for instance, we have a text field. Okay, let me create another column inside a column. Because now, I agree with you that column is just a list widget. It's a list. Now, look at this. Let's see the definition of column, if I can get anyone. You say, create a vertical array of children. And when it comes to array is a list. And whatever is inside that array is the children. And that's why you have these block brackets here. Now, I'm telling you that what you are going to put here is what? A list. Now, look at the origin of it. Say, list widget children. Now, because we are dealing with lists, it's going to allow us to use as many stuff we want to use inside here. So now I want to create an input box. Now I have my text. I have my text field. Now inside that text field, I have a bunch of options. I have the controller. Now, if you use this controller is what you are going to use to pass the information on your screen to your server, to your next page, or anywhere you want it to be. We have autofocus. Now, this autofocus simply means once you open the app, where do you want the cursor to be blinking? This is the autofocus. Me personally, I don't put it off. So you go ahead, use your hand and go and put it where you want it to be. Now you have your cursor radius, cursor width. Me, I normally leave those ones at default. There's no need for me tampering or touching the cursor size of or any other thing. No, another thing we have the enable, disable, and etc. Input formatter, keyboard appearance, keyboard type. Now most and line. You have obscure text. You have on change. You need on complete on editing complete, on submit and etc. and on tap. So and on read only. These are four features you are going to explore or we are going to explore. But learn how first of all, see how you can beautify what you want to do. Now let's start with input decoration. Now, if you look at here, we have decoration. It's already telling us that what we needed as an input decoration. It's not like the container time. Look at container. Container is telling us what you are doing is box. But text field is telling us when we call our what's it called? Our decoration. What we are going to add there is what? Input decoration. Now I have my decoration. Now what I'm going to use is input decoration. Now if you maybe on your own personal time you go through all these things and read them. Now it's telling us that this one is going to help enable us to do a lot of things, both the label, the icon, the style, etc. So if you go through this, I believe that you're going to understand a lot of things or the concept behind this particular widget. But I believe that most of us are used to this design. I'm just saying this for people are here to be conversant with this stuff. Hello, are we here? So I have first thing is our border. And let's put our border. Now, if you go to border, look at what you told there, what you said there. Input border. The shape of the border or draw around the decoration container. If borders material underline input border states blah blah blah. Now, if border derived from the input border, the border input border, that is border color, width, overriding, reflect, blah 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 blah. So if you go through this thing, you understand what and what this border is doing. Now let's start something. Now first thing I'm going to do is you can use input border.none. You can use input this, depends on what you want to use. Now look at the error here now. They are constrained. Input border is supposed to go with we have an onboard height and width. So it's telling us that we should wrap this thing with what? Let me say a container. Can refer a container and make it height 50 or 70. I can make my width double dot infinity. So you can take the whole screen. Can refresh. Let me see if I'm still going to have the error again. It's telling me that okay, it's not supposed to be infinite. Let me say Let me start. Okay, they gave it to it. So let me now, as I wait to it, let me say the weight should be 100. Now you see what I'm saying here? That's the container. Oh, so this created this thing inside the row. I need to create it outside the row so you can have it down. This is not supposed. It's not supposed to give me that error. Let me check something else. Mhm. So this is it. Now, if you notice something, as I click inside it, I'm having the border changed. Now it's not making use of you have border enable and all those things. So maybe as we proceed on designing this, let me give space. Size box. Right. 20. Now, if you look at now, inside this impute decoration, just maybe on your own, just take time and go through it and see the stuff being made up of it. You have input decoration, input border on error, on focus, on disabled, on enabled, and on border. So it depends on the one you want to work on. If you sign out to go to here and select input decoration on enable. There is the outline. Let's see. Can we border reduce the circular? Let me say 15. Please, if you have any question, please ask. Then you have the bottom side and gap and other things you can think of using. I use the border side. Stroke, let me say 3. So I think you can see what we are doing or what we did here. So I think with this now, we can be able to create what's being called again.
Search
Our
box.
first. So this is it now. Now the next thing here I just want us to touch is what's being called again. Button. I think from here we have touched, I think 2 or 3 or more than 3 widgets here. We have touched text, padding, container, row, column, size box, and another thing, spacer. Now, what next we want to do is what is being called again is button. Now, you notice everything I'm doing is inside that first column I created. Are you getting me? Everything I'm doing is inside that first column I created.
Yes.
Now, the next thing we are going to do here now is let's create a button. Let me use a size box. I'm using that size box to space them. Although there is a widget called gap. Let me just show you guys that widget. Gap. I think it's this guy. Well, if I'm not sure, I can as well go to my browser and check what's it called, pub.dev. I have gap. Okay, take this. If you don't want to use writing, what's it called again? Size box every time now and then to give space. You can use gap. Gap will automatically read the area you want to, whether it's vertical or horizontal, that you wanted to add this gap. Unlike size box, you have to declare it whether it's width or height or that you want the gap to the space to appear. So now for me now to use it, I just have to come here and add my gap. So let me import the widgets. Let me read the documentation again. Let me see whether I've changed anything. Still gap. Still gap. It's still gap. Why is it not gapping? Where is my gap not gapping? Okay, let me check if it's installed in post.yam itself. Is it no? Okay. Let me just go there and copy it. I don't know why it's not, the gap is not gapping. Okay. This is not working. Let me go and do a post.get now. No.
Yeah. Updating.
I just write on the Flutter get. Well, I don't know why the gap is not, the package I imported is not working. I don't know. Because the thing is here. This is it. So I don't know why it's not importing him or herself. Well, let me check the difference in version. This is version 3.0, 5 months ago. Compatible with top 3. The next one is and it's 3.0.
Yeah. Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
That 3.0.1 that is in front of it. Maybe you should remove it and let the ID choose what he wants.
It's okay. It's okay.
Remove it. Don't let it waste our time.
Yes, yes, yes. So I think maybe later it will work. So it's going. So I'm moving. I think it's right. Right is let me use straight also. So now for us to create our widget, our button, we're going to make use of container. So we can have what we want. Now the first thing we're going to use is the height. Let me say height is let me say 70 again. Now we have width double dot infinity. Now we have our decoration in box decoration. I have my border and the border dot circular. Circular, sorry. Let me say 15. Now I have color. Colors dot say black. And I have my charge. Let me say center. Center, charge, now tests. And sign in. Let's see what okay. No needs. So I need to style it. going to have text time. I'm going to have my color. That's white. We have our font width. Font width should be font width of bush. I have my font size. 1118. What did I have? Okay, let's say this. Now, with this now, notice that this app, the button will not be clicking. Reason being that we are yet to. What I did is now I created a custom button for myself because Flutter have their own button, which is called elevated button. I don't know if they are changing them. Elevated button. Now we have the function, the onPress function. We have the child. Now you can as well turn your now I have my child, maybe child and make it tests. And I still put the same sign in. Sign in. Now, you notice the difference between these two buttons now. Most of the apps you're going to see, they're not making use of this. They're actually making use of, they created their own custom button. Now, this is not going to be clickable until you assign maybe an inkwell or a gesture detector to it. So it depends on the one that you are conversant with or the one you prefer. Are you getting me? I know all of us are already aware of this. I'm just saying it for saying purposes. Men are not killers, we're just taking it bit by bit. But if you want us to jump it to start building a big UI for ourselves, fine and good. Maybe on Monday we kickstart that one. But I'm saying it for things for people that are yet to understand the rudiment behind the Flutter. Now, the next thing I'll do is I'll wrap, because this container here, I want the whole container to be clickable. That's why I'm going to wrap this container with whether maybe I will use inkwell, then I use gesture detector, so you can as well see the difference. And after that, I'm going to create a widget for it, so you can use one widget in 2 different or 5 places. I believe most of us are already aware of that. Am I right?
Yes.
Making our code reusable. So let me just wrap this thing with a widget. Then I can now say, let me use inkwell. Now the next thing I want to do is on top. On top is already a function that so let's say what I wanted to do. Once I click it, I want it to print something for me. Let me use the dot print. Debug print. Let me say button clicked. So if I go through my console, let me clear this thing. So let's confirm if the button is actually working. When I click here, let's see. You notice I have the button clicked, so our button is working. Let me still copy this thing and put it on that elevated button. Where is it? Here. Elevated button click. Then if I click here, I still have my elevated button clicked. So our button is actually working. So the next thing we are going to do is now is to create a custom widget for it. Or should we just leave it since all of us know how to use it? Or should we just say it because of people that are going to watch the video much later?
Question, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I've made the use of all material button. So, which one is more preferable or more advisable to use? Is it this one that will create a text and we wrap it with on tap widget, or we use material button initially? Which one, sir?
Me personally, I prefer creating my own button, designed where I want or how I want it to look. Because I notice this their own, I can't modify it. This elevated button. I can't change the color, I can't do anything to it. You get, but with this method, you can structure your icon, you can structure your code the way you want it to be. Now inside this video, I can make it, you can add an icon inside it. Just where display the root children, you put your row. Now let's quickly do it so you can see it together. The reason why I prefer having my own custom button, not the material or the elevated button, the built-in button for Flutter. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So let me quickly add icon to this and see. Now I have this text. I'm just going to cut this one out, then use my rule. The first one should be the text. The second one should be the icon widgets. Icon. Let's see. I have the thing here now because the button size is not that much. I can change it to 140. Let me send it to 150. Now there's what you call it. Did I say to 1005? Main access alignment. This is one now going to help us main access. I can put it to center. Let's see. Cool. Now, if I still want to separate them, I can use cross main alignment, cross axis alignment. I'll do it like I can do. So this one should be There should be space in between. Yes, sir. Okay. I'm gonna add my this thing, size box. So. Now, you know the size box now. Now use width. I will not use that. If I use that, we're going to see any effect on it. Let me say 5. But I change it to. That's the reason why I prefer using a that gap widget. Once I put it, you don't even need to ask me which area do I want to put it. Automatically reads where and where I want to use it or not. So this is this now. I think with this, if I ask you to design me a UI of login, I think you can do it. There are some other things I can add here, but I don't know if I should leave you guys for that one. Just adding an icon here, a label, and etc. That would be more like an assignment for you guys. So I don't know if you have made any progress on this. I know this is, you guys really know how this thing works.
Hello?
I can hear you, sir.
Do you mean we should replicate what you have done today? Or do it to a better standard? Hello?
What I'm saying, I said I'm going to send you a screenshot of what you guys are going to replicate for me.
Okay, that's fine.
A full-blown login page, not this one.
Okay.
Now, but that one we're going to have an icon, and it's going to have what is being called again, a label.
Okay.
So let me know, because I know you guys have been doing something like this before. Maybe I still need to add this show button and show password and don't show password. That small icon that's always there. Because I believe you already know how to use a suffix and a prefix. But let me just quickly show, just for showing purposes, for the benefit of people that are going to watch this video much later. And let's see, inside here we have is it here? Okay. Now, if you look at inside this input decoration, we have I think prefix. Where am I? Sorry. We have prefix. You can use prefix icon. You can use just prefix. Me, I prefer using prefix if I'm not going to. If I do the prefix and I wrap it with JSON detector for clicking, or you can still use your own method. But I prefer using this one. Then add my widgets. Just I want to use the icon. I don't normally use. I'll show you the difference between icon button and icon, how they react to program. Now let me use this thing. I have icon name. Okay, there's nothing like name here. Okay, let's save this now. Okay.
Hello, sir. Please, what is the function of the prefix?
Prefix is this icon that is here. Name prefix, like the first icon, we have suffix, the last icon. But let me Let me clear this. Let's say prefix. So I think let's say prefix. Let's see what I can. Sorry, suffix. Suffix. We have. Let me have the same. Okay, let me use icon button. Icon button. Now I have the first of all the icon widget. I'll just copy this. I'll copy this stuff. I have the icon button. Now, if you notice something now, you see the space here. There's a space, a very big space here. And there's no very big space here. If I should remove this icon now to be normal icon without click on it. Let's see. Notice something now. The gap closed. So this is where you put that show button and off button. So I don't know if I'm making sense here.
Yes, sir.
So but there's something I noticed. I don't know if I should fix it or should I allow you guys to fix it much later. Now I noticed something here. On the enable border, the whole thing I did disappeared. The icon is not showing until I click inside. Are you getting me?
No, sir.
You notice now the icon is not visible again. It's only visible now when I click inside, which is not supposed to be. So I'm thinking, should I allow you guys to fix it or should we do it? I don't know. Should it be part of the assignment for you guys to discover how to make the icon show?
Anyone is fine, sir.
Okay. So let me allow you guys to find the error and fix it. So let me quickly look for something you guys. We don't use assignment and kill you guys, so seriously. Let me see. There's something we have designed before. Let me see if we can get anyone on my phone. In my system. Right, let me check through the. Let me ask God. Sorry. Simple mobile login. Simple mobile login design. But if you see the one you guys can do, let me know. So because what we are doing now is we're actually going to use it and consume API and do other things. So we don't want to give you guys one that have a lot of functions on it. We don't need a simple catch something. Did you guys see anyone? Is this one okay? Is this something we can achieve? Hello?
Yeah.
And I asked, is this something we can achieve?
Which one? Is it this one or the other one?
This one here. Hey, where is it again? Oh, I don't know, Komoto. This one here. Is this something we can achieve?
Yes.
Okay. I believe it's neat enough. Or should we go for this?
Okay.
Okay. Are we good?
For this one, sir.
This one, the functionality mad though.
No functionality on this. What I needed to do is just the simple UI here. This first one.
The first one is easy.
So I'm not telling you should do everything. The only thing there is that I didn't see anything here. This is amination. This is amination. As in the thing tweaking around there is amination. Another thing is once it's complete, you show that this highlight this button. That is on checking if the whole thing is complete, then enable the button. That's why when you fill those empty spaces, then those things should show.
So we are having two text box and
Yes,
one box.
Yes. And smaller circular container down 3. You can source your icon down, your images, sorry.
Okay. The Twitter, Facebook, and Google.
Yes.
You put it inside the container.
Yes. Make sure it's on the center.
Okay.
Yeah, other logins. I think it's simple. I just needed us to have a neat design. So our screen will not be busy because I think at early stage of our development or being a builder, we really want to use our eye to decide how our program or apps looks until we get to a company that will give us their design. But to me, the concept of everything demands still lies down on us, how we see designs. But I think let me save this image.
Oh.
Can I view on download? Can I view on download? Let me see whether I can download it. Yes. Okay. Let me quickly send it to our platform. So, my guy, I hope you can. Is this something you can join it to or something?
Yeah, right?
Yes.
I will do this one tonight, and when I'm done with it, I'm going to start the other one tomorrow.
Okay. Once you're done with it, just send me a screenshot. Everybody, please.
Okay.
A screenshot of it will go a long way to motivate us to, because we have a lot of things to do. We are building a full app. Back-end people are actually cooking a API for us to consume. So that's why the chief mentor of that one is asking us to for us to add them in our group so you can see the place we are going, then know how you can still ask his own group on what to do in creating APIs.
Okay.
So look my any updates, any updates.
Yes, sir.
Who are you?
I should be able to replicate the login page, sir. I think I can try.
I trust you not guru now, just the hide.
I- I'm not good.
You just the hide. I mean, when I do, I get I get wetin I want build, sha. When I do.
Okay, sir. Call it a day as at this point.
Yes. Uh, Thank you guys very much for your wonderful time. I really appreciate the commitment towards this. So I'll be sending the video so that people can as well watch and learn too. Good night, guys.
Yes, sir.